My apartment in Tucson never felt like home. It felt like a waiting room I'd been stuck in for 2 years. I was 26, working nights at a call center, sleeping through most of the daylight hours, which meant I barely knew anyone on my own street. The guy next door, Gary, seemed harmless at first. Older, maybe 50s, always out watering a lawn that was mostly gravel. He waved. I waved back. That was the whole relationship for the first 8 months. Then I started a podcast. Nothing big, maybe 40 listeners, mostly friends. I mentioned my street name once, joking about the heat. Small thing. I forgot about it within the hour. 3 days later, Gary brought up the podcast episode by name while I was taking out the trash, word for word. I hadn't told him about it. I hadn't told anyone on this street about it. I told myself he found it online, that people find things. Coincidences happen, but my stomach didn't believe that explanation, even if my mouth said it out loud to my roommate that night. 2 weeks after that, my blinds started opening on their own. Not fully an inch, maybe 2, right at the bottom corner. Every single morning around 5 a.m., I'd close them before bed. I'd wake up to that inch of gap, sunlight cutting a thin line across my floor. I checked the latch, fine. I checked the frame, fine. I started taping the blinds shut with painter's tape, and the tape would be peeled back, folded neatly, and set on my windowsill, like a little gift. I called the building manager. He said the windows were old, that the latches probably just loosened with the heat. He didn't come look. He didn't ask which unit. Ineffective. The way people in charge of a problem always seem to be right when you need them not to be. I'd started keeping my phone charged on the pillow next to me at night, an old habit from a bad breakup 2 years back, and one night I woke up to the screen lit. Number notification, just the flashlight app on, pointed at the ceiling. I hadn't touched it. The escalation kept a rhythm to it, quiet for 4 or 5 days. Then one thing, then quiet again. Long enough that I'd start convincing myself I'd imagined the last one. I told a coworker about it over break, and she laughed, not unkindly, and said I sounded exhausted. Maybe I was. I wanted to believe that more than I wanted to believe the alternative. Then came the note. Folded once, tucked under my windshield wiper, no signature. It listed my work schedule for the entire week. Correct down to the 10-minute lunch I take at 2:10. I don't post my schedule anywhere. I don't tell anyone but my manager. I called the police that night. 2 officers came, took a report, walked the perimeter of the building with a flashlight, found nothing, and told me to keep the note in case something happens. In case, like a warning shot fired past you doesn't already count. The night it ended, I'd fallen asleep with the TV on, some rerun humming in the background, and I woke up because the humming had stopped. Not the TV turning off, someone standing directly in front of it, blocking the light with their body, close enough that I could hear breathing that wasn't mine. I didn't scream. My legs just wouldn't move, not even a little, like the signal from my brain had gotten lost somewhere on the way down. By the time I found the courage to reach for the lamp, the room was empty. The front door was locked from the inside, the way I'd left it. I moved out 3 weeks later. Gary still lives there, as far as I know. Nobody ever pinned anything on him, because nothing was ever technically proven. I still don't sleep with my blinds fully closed. I need to see if that inch of gap comes back. I was 17 when we moved to a rental outside Cleveland. The kind of neighborhood where every house looks slightly apologetic for existing. My parents were going through a divorce, and I'd basically raised myself that year, which is its own kind of quiet horror nobody puts a title on. The house next to ours sat empty for a while. Then a woman moved in mid-30s, kept to herself, introduced herself as Denise. My mom brought her a plate of cookies, the way you do. Denise smiled at me a beat too long that day. I didn't think much of it. I was 17 and used to being looked at. It started small. She'd be in her yard exactly when I left for school, every morning, like she'd set an alarm around my routine. Then she started being at my bus stop's exact block when I walked home, always with some reasonable excuse, walking a dog she didn't own, checking her mail at 4 in the afternoon. I mentioned it to my mom. She said I should be flattered, someone's being friendly, that I was being paranoid about a nice lady who probably just liked routine. Ineffective. In the specific way, parents are ineffective when they're drowning in their own collapse. Denise started leaving things on our porch, a book with my name written inside the front cover, in handwriting that wasn't mine, a friendship bracelet, my exact wrist size, no note. I never told her my wrist size. I never told her anything. The dread built slow, the way water builds behind a dam you can't see cracking. I started taking the long way home, adding 15 minutes to avoid her block, and for a while it worked. 2 weeks of nothing. I let my guard down exactly the way you're not supposed to. Then, I found her standing in our unlocked garage on a Tuesday afternoon, holding a photo of me from my middle school yearbook, one I didn't know existed outside our house. She wasn't startled when I walked in. She smiled like I'd caught her doing something completely normal, said she'd found it on the ground outside, and left before I could figure out what to say back. I told my mom that night, finally with details sharp enough to cut through her exhaustion. She called the police. An officer came, spoke to Denise for maybe 10 minutes, and left saying there wasn't enough for a report, no threats made, nothing technically illegal about a neighbor being friendly. 2 nights later I woke up because my window, the one that faced her yard, was open 6 inches. I always lock it. Always. The screen had been removed and set neatly against the outside wall, like whoever did it wanted me to notice the care, not just the intrusion. I didn't sleep in that room again. I slept on the living room couch for the rest of that year, telling my mom it was because the AC worked better downstairs. Denise moved out that winter. No warning, no goodbye. The house sat empty again after that. I still have the bracelet. I don't know why I kept it. I think some part of me needed proof. For the nights I convinced myself I made the whole thing sound worse than it was.